by Chris Herren's 12 points. But they have frustrated UMass's backcourt of Padilla and Travieso, a combined 3 of 12 shooting from the floor. UMass will start 3 guards against Herren and company as Padilla, Travieso, and Charlton Clark start the second half.
Pace is important. Be relaxed on this end. Good play, good defense.
Jump ball, arrow pointing to Fresno as Larry Kettner was turned away inside by David Portman.
Again, it got a little too deep. You mentioned that earlier. Got underneath the glass. You're sort of stuck. But I think that's key for UMass now. Pace of the game. Push nothing, bring it out, and run your offense. Don't get in a frenzied game with this solid team.
Fresno's lead is 10 to start the second half. Nice twisting move, but a good defensive play to turn it away. Minutemen push it with Padilla and Travieso. Here's Carmelo, blocked by Forney, but Kettner kept it alive.
He should have kicked it out. That's just being young.
Ajmal Bassett, the freshman, was in trouble. The other end, Young stepped back behind the line.
That's a tough shot. I'm telling you, step back, Jack. You got to have some strength. Bassett running the floor, had the shot blocked, the rebound at this end, contributing.
UMass almost looks like they're trying to play at a little slower tempo here this half. They can't win a 100-point, 90-point game with Fresno. Here is Bassett twisting around his man. Kettner the putback.
Well, I'm not happy with the release, I'm sure, nor is Bruiser, but Larry on the spot. And then Bassett wants to come out. He must have gotten a shot. He's exhausted.
Just a minute and a half into the second half. The lead is 8. Chris Herren, Damon Forney. Junior tries to go around the tired Bassett, and Kettner was there at the goal to turn him away.
You can't relax, Ajmal. You got to reach back and guard the guy.
Here is Kettner for Rasan Smith.
Well, folks, you've seen the growth, the improvement of a pretty good low post guy. He's 270, Mike. He does not even look 230.
Forney would have an opportunity if they got it because his man Bassett is tired. It was knocked out of bounds off of Forney. And now Bassett, who looks to be, as you see, shaken up in some manner, checks out.
Well, I know what Bob Hurley would say to him. Are you kidding me? A young guy at your age, not ready to go up and down. We haven't even played 2 minutes here. And I think Bruiser will say the same thing tomorrow.
Chris Kirkland checks in. He's just trying to get his breath back a little bit. Maybe he took a shot in that area.
He may have taken a shot. You're right.
Clark tries to go inside, but has it knocked away.
So when he had the ball in low a few times, he may have taken a couple of shots that knocked the air out of him. I'll give him that.
Stays with UMass, scoring the last 7 points. If you extend back to the 3 at the end of the first half, good hustle by Kettner to keep it alive. But Herren comes away with the turnover and blows down the lane. And the foul.
What strength. Oh, now that should knock a guy out of the game. Forney took it in the middle.
Taking his own guy out.
Well, you never want to lead the opponent to a fast break. Here's great control, almost like a halfback. The shoulders square, able to lay it up with a nice little kiss release. I mean, he loves to play. And with his life in order, there's no controlling how good he'll become.
One of the reasons he said that he looked to Jerry Tarkanian of Fresno State, that Tark is a guy like me. He's had troubles in the past and is persevering through them. And together, Herren and Tark could have a couple of years of very high-profile, good seasons at Fresno State on the basketball field.
Do you think Tark got in a lot of trouble? He may have been outlaid, violated a rule or two, but nothing big deal.
Here is Kirkland, a little tentative to take a shot, and the rebound, 1 and out. Roberson pulls it away. Herren, right around his man, finds the open Young.
And there again, jump in the air, find somebody. Don't do that. That's what guys would say. But
Flint wants to say that for a 20-second timeout. Look at the enthusiasm and the exuberance of Herren making his thus far triumphant return here to the state of Massachusetts.
Well, he said if it was Providence, it would be a different game. It's right next to Fall River. The pump fake, this penetration, and coaches will tell you, don't leave your feet. Well, at Vegas and at Fresno, they've been doing it successfully. A great look by a terrific performer, Chris Herren. And on this end, this is the answer. Let the big fella get it. Give him a little room, that little shoulder turn. That's a real trademark release. by Larry Kettner. He's a plugger, and Bruiser did a great job keeping him out, in and out with the 2 fouls in the first half.
You see Travieso and Padilla in conversation a little bit. They're discussing things, and oftentimes they communicate in English and Spanish, and they're trying to come up with any language to slow down Chris Herren, who's leading Fresno with 15 points.
Well, the universal language for guards and forwards is if the guards give it up, the forwards communicate.
Padilla around his man. Challenging.
Pretty. Take the hit. That was that gap drive. Fresno had used it. Sorry, Tart.
You see the towel, you see the man across the way. It's the natural reaction. Chris Herren is locked in right now.
And he's also locked in deep, and they realize the guard is going to be back there. If you don't have anything, kick it deep.
7 of 10 from the field, 18 points for Herren. Clark tries to answer. A foul before the travel.
Ooh, that's a little bit of a break, huh? Trump was going south. Very solid basketball right now by Fresno. Baseline drive. Both Young and Herren find one another, too. If one goes to the hole, the other finds a spot way out because the defense turns and looks.
Boy, Herren's been enjoyable to watch. Intensity, emotion every time he hits a goal. A big smile. Smile of satisfaction almost. Bassett is back in the game, by the way. The long shot for Padilla is off the mark. And on the run out, Dominic Young leaves it for Herren.
Pretty. Oh,
changed the shot in the air.
Oh, what acrobatic maneuvering, but also the unselfish play of Dominic Young, and a run out again.
15-point lead, largest of the night. Herren has 20 of the Fresno State 63. Padilla got past Young.
See, that's not the way to get back.
The rebound for Clark. Even though it's a 3-guard lineup, Clark is making a presence felt inside at 6'3". Just want to sit back and let Herren take the ball and watch it. Deshaun Smith worked on Kettner. Had no shot.
The guards stayed at home that time when the ball went inside. They can't go drifting.
Meaning the mass guards, Padilla and Travieso.
Yes.
Young tries to break down Carmelo. Got around him, but had nobody for the wraparound pass.
And Padilla stayed outside on Herren. Nice little maneuver defensively.
UMass backs up. Bruiser Flint, you see him on the sidelines. The 30-year-old head coach. Settle down, guys. Don't play their game. Clark cutting. Nice pass. That's it. The weak side rebound. Osmal back in the lineup, has 12.
Osmal likes to let everybody know that he got the deuce. But getting to the goal, very important. I'm not so sure Charlton did kiss that to him.
On purpose?
Well, he drew his man. You buy that, right?
I was going to say, do you want to watch tape with the kids to help them out as the coach to watch? 11-point lead for Fresno. Here is Forney trying to get around Kettner. Great save. He teed up again.
Big time maneuver. Robertson, yeah, that's a great assist.
Forney has 9. The Fresno lead is 13. Travieso hit the side of the backboard. Clark draws the offensive foul on Dominic Young.
And if he doesn't get it, he's dead. That's a great offering up of the body. And right now, the long jumper's flat. You don't have good rotation back. The runouts by Fresno. And Bruiser's upset, but the shot selection's got them in a little hole.
3 fouls on Young. In the state of Massachusetts, it's the Massachusetts native who's center stage tonight.
Now in his thinking, and look at that turnaround.
Fresno leading by 13. UMass ball.
They're shooting 33% this half, so that's partly the shot selection.
Kettner trying to create for himself, and Fresno State has done a very nice job on the board. They've done a very solid job all the way around tonight. For those of us who have not seen Fresno before, I can walk away very impressed no matter what happens in the next 13 minutes.
Look at the follow here in good position. Well, you know with Jerry there is they get the small change foul on Padilla. I believe that's what, 3?
Yes, it is.
But Jerry's guys are always well schooled. I mean, solid, understand defensively how to take you out of some things. This club seems to pass a little better. Now, talk to Utah about last year, right? I mean, Fresno
beat them twice.
A lot of people felt they should have been in the NCAA tournament. I think this year there's no question that they will be there. There's a solid basketball team.
Young able to keep that alive as that shot was bumped away from him. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Shot clock's not a factor with these guys. Herren got all the way and
he took a hit.
Handcuffed Darnell McCullough.
He also took a bang and still able to make the pass. Yeah, you got to be ready. He needed extra passes, and I heard him ask one of the assistants. He said, "No, we don't have it." He said, "Well, I'll ask Bruiser." Well, that's kind of cool. He's really a confident performer, confident about his ability.
Charlton Clark missed. Stanley the rebound. Here is Herren with no help. What will he do? He'll take Padilla, and he'll get to the line.
Not afraid. I mean, there was one where a lot of guards would have backed it off. The numbers were to his disadvantage, but he knew he had the size and maybe the maneuverability with the bounce to get to the goal. And right here he's looking. He realized there's a little freeze play too. Just enough to think you're fanning and rock the guy and go strong to that goal. He's on a roll right now.
Went to Boston College. McDonald's All-America in high school. Fall River, Massachusetts. Durfee High School. Went to Boston College. Played one game there. It was against Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Hurt his wrist, broken wrist, sat out the entire season, needed surgery. Then after Jerry Tarkanian took the job at Fresno, got in touch with him. Went out to Fresno, had to sit out last year, put on some weight, put on some extra poundage. As Bill mentioned, trip back to Fall River for the Christmas holidays. Started hanging around with some of the old characters in the neighborhood. Wasn't the best thing for him, but has come back very focused, working very hard, and has looked tremendous tonight. 22 points. Chris Herren.
Are you saying you can't go home, or when you go home, behave yourself?
When you go home, leave the baggage. Bassett with the putback. Oswald has 14.
They need some work at this end, UMass now. And they're struggling with their shot selection, but good deployment on this end. Here's a high pick and roll, drive the gap, and the pushback. This is a tough play to defend.
We have not seen much from Kendrick Brooks, who averages 14 a game, and Travieso fouled as Kettner was trying to help out on defense up away from the arc.
UMass traditionally, the last few years, have been able to take people out of what they're trying to run, and I think that's part of the problem. The guards haven't been able to contain for Bruiser. Therefore, once they turn, the disadvantage occurs.
Stanley trying to fade over Kettner. Did a nice job defensively. But the foul as Fresno once again hits the boards. I'll give you Bassett on that foul.
Likes to play physical. Stanley not a good performer offensively, according to sources at Fresno, but a guy, you get him that close. The shot on Kettner, and Oswald gets number 4 at the end of that play.
We're going to have to make a change to get him out of the game and bring in Chris Kirkland.
And they go awfully small right now.
Kirkland 6'6", Bassett is 6'9". Bassett putting up a career night offensively for him. It's just his first year, 14 points. He's done a very nice job.
He's going to be a good player. Stronger next year. Concentrate in the offseason. And he's got a whole season of learning to go.
One more for Garrett Terdenga. This was the first game he has not started, as Damon Forney gets back to health. But he still has 4 points, and UMass is now facing their biggest deficit of the night at 15 points.
Did you see the denial by McCullough? I mean, they force you out of the area. It's pretty.
Clark over Stanley. Charlton Clark now has 7 points. He comes off a career high.
They've got to prove they can do the stopping at this end. That's been a little break for UMass. Brooks trying to look one way and bounce it off his foot.
Down 13 with Padilla on the bench in foul trouble, and Bassett on the bench with foul trouble. Can UMass find enough offense to come back?
You know, they haven't been able to get it to the top to dump it down if they deny Kettner the ball on one side. It's something they did well with Campy.
Clark got some help all the way around that time from Kirkland. Stanley and Terdenga inside the good defense, but it's out of bounds off Fresno.
Getting it closer to the goal.
McCullough, the third body, in there as well. Foul trouble, Weeks on the bench, and Fresno up 13. Improve its record to 6-1, leading UMass by 13. Triple header on Saturday. Temple and Tulsa. Chance to see Shea Seals go up against Mark Jackson at high noon Eastern. Then a shootout in Texas Tech and TCU at 5 Eastern. But after the Heisman Trophy presentation, UMass back in action. Their next game, they take actually their second game after this one. They take on number 2 Wake Forest and Tim Duncan at 8:30 Eastern Time. UMass has a Thursday game against Drexel before the game at Wake Forest.
When they get to the line, nice job getting it inside. Well, they're all saying up here, what did Calipari do with this schedule?
Right.
Then he went to the Nets. Well, he's got Seattle and Chicago this week, so it's not easy for him either. But it's only going to help Bruiser late. But if he were the boss, I don't think he would have booked some of these games, Mike.
Just to ease in the young guys a little bit, especially with Tyrone Weeks being injured, the ankle injury, is Larry Kettner will get a couple of free throws here to try to cut the 13-point lead. He'll get one more. Weeks played in the first half. Maybe that ankle tightened up. He will not come back, we understand now, in the second half. Remember, he sat out the last 2 games with the ankle.
Kettner shooting around 43% as they get a jump ball. I mean, his ball comes down cold and wet on a free throw.
High toss. Ooh, soft.
Didn't play in the church league I played in. We had scrapers.
Mike Babel comes in as without Weeks, with Padilla 4 fouls, Bassett 4 fouls. Bruiser Flint really has to use some mirrors here to find a combination to cut into this 12-point lead.
Nice shot defensively, cushioned by Herren. Yeah, Larry Kettner knows how to hold off, too. They just couldn't get the ball to the high man, Kirkland, for the look down.
Carlton Clark beats Kettner. Almost caught him by surprise. He was so wide open and out of bounds. Off the hands of UMass. Kirkland lost it.
I think he rushed it for that reason, too. He was in such a hurry to shoot it. Stone free.
UMass extends the defense first time tonight. Foul as Charlton Clark and Kendrick Brooks collide, and looking at Clark to try to see what he injured as he stays down.
That's one where the wind may have been knocked out of a good aggressive denial. Just got there a little bit late.
Yep. He gets right back up. It looks to be okay. Even tougher when you have one injury and 2 guys in foul trouble to have to play full court defense. Broken nicely that time by Fresno. Maybe not.
A nice trap.
Jump ball, arrow pointing back to Fresno.
They need to stir it up. It's hard with these terrific talents with the dribble, though, to stir it up. So maybe when Brooks or some of the forwards get it, right? You know, Babel didn't run. That's pretty good experience there. A lot of guys would have run away from this one. This is an ideal. You forget all the rules or what you're playing. Lock the guy up.
11 minutes, 12-point deficit. Brooks fires the 3. And a foul on Fresno, so it'll go back the other way. Darnell McCullough battling for position. Picked up the personal. His first.
And Babel pretty good. Skyer in pretty good position. As Herren gets a little bit of a blow. He reminds you in his feistiness of Danny Tarkanian right next to him. There's this.
Single-handedly, he's outstatting Carmelo and Edgar. I thought you were going to say Scott Skiles. Oh, nice spin move by Kettner. Couldn't get the bounce, and it's Stanley on the rebound. Brooks trying to find his offensive flow. Tees up Young.
You can't leave him.
Kettner pulls it away. Oh, I am so impressed with Larry Kettner.
He's stunned. Oh, the making of a real good one. And he's got a great attitude. Watched him in drills yesterday. Getting his buddies, sticking behind them, encouraging them.
Fans try to encourage UMass down 12. A 3 would mean a lot. Over the back on Babel. UMass foul on the freshman.
He was not the tower of Babel that time. Almost came up with it.
Second on Babel.
I know you're a biblical guy. That 3 certainly would have gotten them right back into the thing. Almost a 5-point swing.
You saw Edgar Padilla come back in, and Bruiser Flint almost has to make this move. 10:19 left, down 12 with 4 fouls. Edgar, you're a senior. You know what you have to try and do, not pick up the last one.
Well, Bruce almost got that St. Joe's job a few years back, was highly disappointed. It ended up turning out pretty well. Before 30, one of his dreams, and the other dream is to win the NCAA championship.
He's an alum of St. Joe's down in Philadelphia. 2 free throws for Kendrick Brooks, first points of the half, 7 on the game, and the Minutemen down 14.
Fresno really works on you. Nice dump down.
Ajmal Bassett also back in with 4 fouls.
And that's one of the few times they used that little post with the guard coming around. Defense reacted. Great look.
A career night for Bassett. He has 16 points. Freshman out of the great factory, St. Anthony's. Here is Forney working on Babel. Babel holds his own.
Good give.
Travieso.
Giving it up early. That's the experience. All starts from defense. Every time you played UMass, there was that big guy in the middle. That time, Babel up large, and the early give up, the little kiss release. But that's the curl and the dump down that was so effective. Nice hands, ready and prepared by Ajmal Bassett.
Carmelo Travieso completes the three-point play, and the lead is back under double digits. Now Bassett's 4 fouls go to the bench. Babel goes out. As Ruger now tries to play the clock back in the game a little bit.
And Herren back on the floor, too. A little bit unraveled. Fresno State comes with their A-man.
UMass stays with full court pressure. Herren helps break it. He goes right down the lane. Rebound, Kettner. UMass within 9. Big possession here. Travieso. Herren has numbers. It's 3-on-1.
Pretty. Robertson. And he did a great job faking as though he was going to Young. Set up that lane, got it to the middle, send it in. Now Robertson, one of those guys that everybody raved about too. Pretty good in the open floor.
Terrence Robertson, a 3-time parade All-American. Kenny Anderson, Alonzo Mourning, the only other 2 who can say that. And Padilla gets into double digits.
With the kiss in traffic.
Fresno State's lead under 10. Crowd that has been somewhat subdued here at the Mullins Center. Back to their feet. And Herren puts them right back on their derriere.
Jump stop. Is this kid tough? Respective derriere.
A 20-second timeout for Bruiser Flint.
Now, one thing,
UMass.
And Herren's so strong physically, Mike, that he keeps coming at you. You start looking to help. You get the wrong angle. You can't get the feet in the proper position. The legs right here. You can see Edgar Padilla never regained the real head on the ball defense, so necessary. And on the other end, there are some kisses that remind you of home. And this one, a little help from above. Good solid penetration by UMass.
Pick 'em up truck stores, because you are what you do. Running boards, roof and sport racks, trailer hitches, bed liners, sport steps, toolboxes. Pick 'em up truck stores, accessories for whatever you do.
Hi, it's Chris Daniel from 103.7 KRZR Radio. Join me, the Fresno Falcons, Fashion Fair Mall, and the United States Marine Corps Reserve as we celebrate the holidays by giving a child a toy. Wednesday, December 18th, it's a special Toys for Tots night as the Fresno Falcons face the Russian Red Army. Pick up a special Fresno Falcons Toys for Tots coupon from any merchant at Fashion Fair Mall. And on December 18th only, your special coupon plus a new unwrapped toy can be exchanged for up to 4 tickets to the game. Visit the Fashion Fair Mall this holiday and make it a special day for a child in the Valley. Happy holidays from Fashion Fair and these fine sponsors.
We do causes. If it's something we truly believe in our hearts.
In this league, there's something brewing. You can see it in Patrick Ewing.
When it's an extra step he's taking, it's a rule he is breaking.
Yeah, if it's a worthy cause, we get involved.
Don't walk, you're the pros after all. Don't walk, come on, refs, make the call. Don't walk, big men, you know who you are.
It's love.
Duquesne at Coppin State, the Eagles got a 41-game home unbeaten streak, and Antoine Brockington picks the pocket, goes the other way for the flush, and Antoine wasn't done, steals the inbounds, finds Kareem Lewis, and Coppin State looks like it's going to be 42 in a row. Mikey?
Thank you, Carl. Coppin State a big lead. They had a great run a couple of years ago, Fang Mitchell did. Here it's Fresno by 11. UMass hanging around with some foul trouble and trying to play through it. Padilla lost it inside. Put up a wild shot, trying to get the foul. scrum for the loose ball, and the jump ball means the arrow to UMass.
And Edgar tried to get the body and get to the foul line. Real heady play, did not get the call. Right now, fatigue, I would think, a problem for UMass, whereas Fresno's rotate a lot of bodies, strong defensively, force you to catch it a little bit further. And how about the threes, Michael?
Continues to be a struggle for UMass, which is only shooting 25% from three-point land coming in, and that percentage going down tonight.
Can make you catch it a little bit deeper on the floor.
Edgar Padilla calls out the set play with Dominic Young watching, but before anything gets started, an offensive foul on Kettner. Nope.
Back screen, I think.
We'll see who they get. Let's watch away from the ball. What's going on?
I think it's Winston Smith, though. He does a back screen here, right? See him move into it.
That's 3 on Winston Smith, the freshman.
Turnover, though. Critical time.
Every time UMass gets a little bit closer, Fresno comes up with the one play, whether it's the Herren play that we had just before the timeout.
And usually it's caused by the D, and yet that time it was just not a good screen. You moved on it.
First free throw is good. John Robick, the assistant, questioning, I don't know if it's the free throw shooter, as Stanley stepped to the free throw line. You saw Robick in the picture stepping up to say that.
Well, they just said Smith screened him in the back, and that's right. Jerry Donahue, a long-time veteran official.
Jerry and Mike Pitts get it straightened out. Stanley stays at the line. It stays perfect.
And John Moreau, third man in.
6'10" guy. Stanley has not missed a free throw all season. Clark on the other end. And the foul. Charlton Clark trying to fire his teammates up.
Well, they're trying to get pumped up. I think you got to relax a little, guys. It's going to take a lot of energy in 8 minutes. But one thing that's been effective is the use of the post rub. They dumped down the basket earlier here. Charlton Clark, great, strong body. And then the nice jump hook release for 3.
Clark looks so much better, and this is what people expected last year, but couldn't see because the foot injury in the opener against Kentucky never allowed him to get in the flow.
No, never. And even this year, he didn't really feel comfortable. Met with the coaches, said he was forcing it too much. They told him to relax.
Kettner tried to challenge. Look at Fresno all over the glass, but this one goes to UMass.
I mean, they're all in there. I mean, they got everybody shoved underneath. That wears on you and causes you to foul as well. Might be time for Kettner on the offensive end. Run a little post screen, get him low on the box.
They are very, very inexperienced up front, especially now with Kirkland and Babel and Kettner, the only real big man. Good call, Billy. Just couldn't get the shot to go down, but they'll get another chance.
And that's that rush again. I think when he's open, he has a tendency to rush into it. That polish that will come, though.
Fundamentally very solid.
Oh, right? He is. Very well schooled. Knows how to use his body. Speaking of the derriere, knows how to hold off in the box.
Clark. Roberson got up there for the rebound, and it will stay with Fresno State.
And Kirkland, one of those other good-looking freshmen, up competing as well.
Kirkland, the Western Pennsylvania Player of the Year. Mass tries to extend the defense and force some turnovers, and a 20-second timeout called by Jerry Tarkanian in Fresno State.
Jerry was here a couple of years ago speaking. John Calipari had him up to talk, so he's familiar with the surroundings.
When Jerry was in his consultant role with a shoe company. A reminder, Saturday night, the big night in Lower Manhattan at the Downtown Athletic Club. The Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Wendy's. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Mike Adamle, live from New York City. Interviews with the former winners and, of course, the exclusive presentation. The Heisman Trophy. 7:30 Eastern Saturday night on ESPN, and then UMass fans stay right through. After that, it's Wake Forest and the Minutemen. Clark has turned things around at Fresno, certainly this year. A family affair.
And there's Danielle, one of the granddaughters. Jody, his daughter here. A guy, 16 NCAA bids, 12 at UNLV, 4 at Long Beach. I think 5 will be at Fresno.
No losing seasons, averages 26 wins a game, and with shots like that from players like Terrence Roberson, the highest profile recruit ever at Fresno State, the whole tenor of the basketball program has changed in Fresno.
And Roberson answered the phone, said, I was waiting for you to call. I told my father you were going to call me, little nickel dimer in there. Stanley not happy. Roberson told his father a few years ago, I'm going to play for Tarkanian. He's not even coaching. Ends up with the phone call. And right here, the three-quarter, we mentioned the ability to hold off in the box. Even that one, though, he's got to step to it if necessary. Is that the limit? Yep. Number 42 on Harry Stanley, who's been a factor with the positioning, shoving a little bit to get some offensive rebounding area, and tough defensively.
One of the Fresno assistants was quickly up, questioning the foul as well, but it is the fifth personal on Stanley, so did a nice job as Rasan Smith had to go out early with 3 fouls. Stanley more than held his own through the first half and contributed in the second. Larry Kettner at the line gets a nice roll, and he'll get one more. And there's that little arc he was talking about.
He just pointed upstairs, he thinks. Some divine intervention.
Solid stat line. He averages 9 a game. 15 his last time out. So he's equals the point total from the victory over Wyoming and now surpassed.
Winston Smith, aggressive defender in, gives Babel a blow. Little smaller lineup by Fresno right now.
For UMass, they try to turn Fresno over. No Edgar Padilla. Trying to hide his 4 fouls as long as possible.
Can't gamble for the dribble now. That's not good.
He's got size for over somebody else has playmaking ability. The defense by UMass will at least deny the goal.
And Winston Smith, I mean, he didn't even get a look by the officials. Stepped in there, offered it up.
Fresno will be a little more patient here. Shot clock is down at 10 for the first time tonight as Herren goes right past Clark. Smith wasn't really ready the first time. He got another opportunity. Rasan Smith. And Fresno leads by 13.
And that's his range right there. Anything out of that, nice denial. Oh, they get out and play you. Nothing easy, no free lunch. But Rasan Smith, one of those guys that works hard but limited offensively. That time he fumbled that little pass by Herren, who jumped in the air again. Found somebody.
Kettner Collin working real hard.
First time high-low.
Kirkland fed him. Larry Kettner gets to 18. Kettner and Bassett, the 2 first-year players. Kettner a sophomore because he had to sit out last year. They're both doing a nice job. Roberson.
And all on penetration. Out. You come in, look out. He's all smiles.
They enjoy what they do, don't they?
Well, when you do that well, it gives you some satisfaction, as you well know from your work.
Pretty. Chris Kirkland out of Pittsburgh.
Send it in, Chris.
Smith and Travieso trying to force the steal. Charlton Clark nearly got there, but out of bounds off of Clark.
And, you know, that whistle made him stop. He would have been inbounds. But you know what? I don't think Mike Kitts wanted to call the foul once he saw the play. If he could have had the whistle back, we would have let him play on.
Exactly right.
It's Bruiser knows, too.
Tough spot here for Fresno to inbound the ball as UMass extends that pressure.
This turns it into it. Well, nice control here by Dominic.
Learn a lot about a team when they're up and they've been scoring going up and down the floor. With Young and Herren and so many guard-minded people on the floor, they do show the smarts to pull it out when they need to. They're up, they need to milk some time.
Well, they also know they can beat their guys with a dribble, which is a great satisfaction when you want to run something late. Turn the corner, fine.
Senior Young got the bump from Smith. Good defense by UMass. Young couldn't keep it alive, and the Minutemen will get the ball back. Down 12 with 5:01 left.
A little offense for defense, maybe a bigger guy on the glass, and Babel giving Smith a blow. Tark, his buddies call him a non-judgmental man. And judging by the lineup, he does not look back. Not concerned.
So that score, surprising, over the border in Rhode Island. Travieso, they cannot get their outside shots to go down. Fresno ball.
And Herren went after it, but Babel had hit it.
Fresno State going to take a timeout. Travieso 3 of 15. shooting from the floor. They are the high-profile guys. The focus is on them, and it's an adjustment period for the UMass guards.
Jimmy, light up the court. Then hit the radio, man.
Every day, car batteries are put to the test. And every day, one battery lives up to its name. Dial, tried and true.
The Bronze Flex Integral with its pivoting head gives you our closest, smoothest shave anytime, anywhere, fast.
Huh? You have a problem, officer? You have a nice day.
Braun, designed to perform better.
Introducing the Plymouth Neon Espresso and Espresso Coupe. With cool features inside now, like a 150 horsepower engine, fog lights, and a rear spoiler. They're more playful than ever before. One clever idea after another. That's Plymouth. Will she say, I love it? You shouldn't have. It's just what I wanted. Or will she say nothing at all? The diamond solitaire necklace. This Christmas goes straight for the heart.
Bobby Knight, in 26 seasons at Indiana, has worked with some great freshmen. That's the case once again this year, as the Hoosiers are set to face the Blue Demons in Chicago.
We'll check in with Joel Myers in a little bit. Fresno State leading by 12 here in Massachusetts. Second end of our doubleheader is coming up. Chris Herren, the intensity of an Indiana-type player.
And the depth of the big people, I think, has been terrific and well used by Jerry Tarkanian.
They go long to break the pressure of UMass. Herren gets past Clark and travel. And so one of the few forces that has turned into a Herren turnover.
And it was just too much traffic. Actually, the idea was great. The bump, maybe he did walk. Didn't need it, and you're holding 12.
Down 12, no Padilla with 4 fouls. So it's Clark and Travieso in the backcourt. Carmelo trying to find the range. Knocks down a triple.
Well, that resuscitates you quickly. You don't want to just foul. Play solid.
Babel and Clark and the fouls. Clark got a hand up too high and hit Herren in the face.
Boy, they had him, too. I mean, good aggressive trap.
Only the second foul on Clark.
You try to extend the floor. You don't want to foul. Give him the easy trip. And right here, just the overzealous maneuver by a gritty performer, Charlton Clark, against a guy who's taken a few hits in his day. Probably given a few out.
Chris Herren, who's adopted the motto, it's better to work out than to go out. He's changed his ways, changed his habits. So hard he's worked in the gym.
I now have the opposite philosophy.
Now?
Better to go out. There's Fall River Dreams, a book written by Billy Reynolds. Much of it about the Chris Herren and his family. Look at this penetration kick, and he's having a ball.
Terrence Robertson's also having an outstanding second half. 10 points here to get him on his season average. Fresno back up by 13.
Some people say a slight. Look at this denial, too, by Robertson.
Travieso off the mark. The tip for Babel. Mike Babel. The nice putback. He's also an in-stater, freshman out of North Attleboro. Pass for Son Smith.
You better all run back when you play Fresno. 3, 4, that's not enough. All 5 better put the puppies up and down. Good read.
Fresno's going to push triple digits here, Bill. Clark, a circus shot. He'll go to the line. UMass has not lost a non-conference game in this building. 12-0 here. They've won 26 straight non-conference games on campus, and that is in severe danger of coming to an end in the Mullins Center with 3:27 left.
And 5 games in 11 days, too. A little bit of a fatigue problem. Fresno 30 points via the fast break. and UMass 11. And a lot of breakouts.
And a frustrating night for Edgar and company. Clark will get one more free throw.
Well, it tests your resiliency. This is some of the comments you just had. Their 42 record here. But these games are going to make you better. It's tough to understand when you're going through it. And you mentioned Edgar, not disgruntled, but not clean as well as he's capable of. But that meshing of the 5 guys or the 7 or 8 guys as deep as Bruiser goes is going to take a while because you got some young puppies out there.
You saw that 40-2 record in this building as Smith is denied by Kettner, but sticks to it, and Rasan Smith keeps the lead at 13. We get to 3 minutes.
It's like the Yankees get all the good bounces, right, years ago. And this year, that's right. And then like Fresno, anything loose they've been getting.
Kirkland is long. Babel reset. Charlton Clark's triple. Their outside shooting just has not been there for this entire first full month of the season.
And good control, selective opportunity looks by Fresno. They sneak a peek. If they think you're falling asleep, they'll lull you and go. If not, control it.
To finish the thought on UMass's dominance in this building, 2 losses in 42 games coming into tonight, both to the same team. George Washington. Mike Jarvis's team has come in here twice and come away with victories. As a matter of fact, George Washington had 86 in here in February of last season, February of this calendar year. And Fresno has just broken the building record for most points by an opponent. Kirkland tries again from the outside. Kettner can't keep it alive, and Dominic Young and Fresno come away with it. Mike Babel with the foul.
And that was step off right now. You can see fatigue.
Remember, coming up as soon as we're done here, Indiana and DePaul ready to tip it in Chicago. We'll join Joel Myers and Lenny Elmore coming up in a little bit. When we talk about the backcourt for UMass and the way they were outplayed tonight by Herren and company, is it different for them because the spotlight is now turned on these guys who, if we think back to, last November, there wasn't much expected of these guys?
I think without Marcus Camby, a lot changes. I mean, he was such an influence defensively that they could gamble a little bit more. They've got to be sounder on their own man. I mean, it all starts from them. And I think that's part of this breakdown this evening. The guards were able to manipulate, maneuver, get others involved, penetrate too deep, finish, kick. All those things can't happen because that's your first line of resistance.
A couple more for Dominic Young. He has 13. The lead is 15 here in our final 2 minutes. Babel got around Roberson, but a foul. Well, they got to the goal, and the foul was on Rasan Smith inside. This is the start of a very long road trip, the continuation after the game in Eugene, in Amherst, then in Austin. You go with them. Getting down in Texas over the weekend. They go back home, week of finals, then back on the road, Texas Tech, St. Mary's, Texas Tech game being played in Las Vegas. That should be a sideshow of its own.
Gucci Rowe will be back. Huh? Well, Billy Bano's got it going pretty good. Yeah, the one thing that hurt UMass tonight was the Oregon loss for Tark, because he was very disappointed. He's worked them harder since then. He doesn't feel they're as tough as they should be. They didn't run. They didn't get loose balls. I mean, this guy's enjoying himself. It's like a renaissance of sorts, because he said the loss the other night, years ago, he wouldn't have been able to sleep. So now he's a little more understanding. Another one of those breakouts, huh?
For Roberson, who had no chance of a shot, but Terdenga with the putback. Garrett Terdenga, the German, has 6. It is a 17-point lead for Fresno State as UMass is going to fall to 2 and 4.
If they keep playing like this, they're going to be dancing to the Terdenga out in Fresno.
Well, here's the thing with Fresno, okay? As Bruiser Flint's going to try to put this UMass team right back at it, maybe good for them that they play another game in 2 days. They play Drexel day after tomorrow, and then the Wake Forest game on Saturday. Fresno's going to get better. And they've got a lot of good people coming in. We alluded to Winford Walton. Rafer Alston is rated by some, and who knows how to rate these things. Top junior college point guard. He's tucked away at Fresno City College. Among the many.
He normally has guys waiting. I mean, they had a list in one of the papers they sent us, of a potential team in 88, 89, or 98, 99. I mean, they've got futures. He said the recruiting end of it now, he's concentrating more on coaching. You know, the 2 hours they're permitted in the preseason and after the season, he's dedicated himself to making players better. I think their offense is better than even the Vegas days. By that,
really?
You know, a little more under control maybe and looking for one another. And that's just an observation. And that's some great teams that did some of those things for him at Vegas as well.
Clark knocks down a couple. Travieso comes back in. Dominic Young fouled out, by the way, with 13 points and 5 assists for Fresno. And now it's clear the bench time. Darnell McCullough in for Damon Forney, the junior. Checks out. And as we were talking before the game, I don't even know if we mentioned this on the air, Bill. The thing with Fresno, if you're going to play them, it's not like you stop the guards, you win the game.
No, there's some people inside. Well, they're going to get it in a spot because of the guards. That's going to cause you some problems. And they've been taking pretty good shots all night long, so therefore guys are in position to rebound. Also, you got some court balance.
Jerry Tarkanian's team looking to move to 6-1. They're in the top 25, ranked 16 in the Associated Press poll. First time a Fresno State basketball team has been ranked in a dozen years. They're sold out. They're talking about building a new arena. Travieso misfires.
He said he'd like something like this when he looked around Mullen.
Very comfortable, multi-purpose facility. UMass's hockey team plays in here as well. Chris Kirkland will get to the line, the freshman from Pittsburgh.
Well, 1990 NCAA champs, against Duke. Pretty impressive performance that night. And I don't know whether they've got the goods. I mean, a lot has to happen. I think they do have to get better inside, to be honest with you. I mean, by that, somebody's got to help on the offensive scoring end of things. Forney's a guy that feels their best inside player. You know, Stanley did some good things, but he's getting 4 points a game.
He came in when Smith got into the early foul trouble. Between Rasan Smith and Stanley, the 2 6'10" players, will one of them give him enough?
And Rashawn with almost 3 blocks a game as well and 10 points. So some help, but more needed.
We started the night talking about Chris Herren, who just passed the ball. What a night it is for him. Massachusetts native has returned home. Crowd was on him early, but he quieted everyone with a tremendous performance tonight. 25 points for the Fall River, Massachusetts native, who's found a basketball extender at Fresno.
Tark loves those feisty guys, too. And Mark Wade a few years ago, I think he still has an NCAA assist record, 19.
Oswald Bassett just found out with 5 fouls, and now Brewster Flint is going to clear the UMass bench.
A pretty good welcome home for that kid. Got his family here.
And a hand from the Fresno folks and a hug with Jerry Tarkanian. He said that playing Providence, as you mentioned, geographically closer to Fall River would have meant a little bit more to him, but
I think he was fibbing a little.
It's pretty obvious what tonight meant to Chris Herren.
Getting a handshake and a rub.
Only a sophomore. Hug from everyone who's wearing Fresno red for him right now.
John Welsh, the assistant over there, we're talking to some of the people in the program saying that he really gets them to work hard. A lot of what he does very similar to Tim Gergovich.
Indiana DePaul, we'll get you there momentarily. As our final seconds come to a sloppy conclusion, Matthew Rhines turns it over for Fresno.
Tark doing a lot of hugging there. I feel like Massimino's in the building. How about Rowley's club, Cleveland State, playing everybody well, Michigan State, Michigan, Georgetown.
That's the way it's gone all night. If Fresno can score here, they'll get to 100. It's been 223 games since UMass has given up 100 points in regulation, and that comes to an end here. What a performance for Fresno, opening eyes that they are deserving of their 16th ranking nationally. Ross Burns missed the triple. Matthew Rhines tried to close it out with another hoop. Finds Darnell McCullough inside, and that will do it. Fresno State beats UMass by 21. Chris Herren comes back home to Massachusetts, scores 25. UMass loses by 21. From Bill Raftery, our entire crew, Mike Tirico. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now to Chicago. Indiana DePaul. Here's Joel Myers.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll welcome you that just saw Fresno State knock off the minute.